Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Very extremely happy to be with you today here on Life Innovation Global TV, The World Speaks. Today, we're going to be talking about impact and legacy. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson again, and I'm extremely happy to be with you on The World Speaks. What we're going to talk about today is the word impact and the word legacy. And as you can see, let me just move my screen right here. We have another book today. This is where I put my books that we are going to be reviewing, and there's always maybe one or two that we do per show. This particular one is by Jeff Levine. I'm going to go ahead and hold it up right here. And it's related to the ultimate guide to wealth, leaving a legacy. So there's going to be some points in there that we discuss, as well as, we always talk about my book, the 51 Powerful P's of Public Speaking, because having an impact and leaving legacy also has to do with how well you're able to communicate your messages. So here on LIG TV, Life Innovation Global TV, we talk about SPC, short, powerful content. And so as we get into the actual shows, this is still a pre-show where I just go over some information about what our focus is going to be, some of the areas that we're going to have our topic cast, which is where we have broadcasts and podcasts about specific topics. And so if the topic is leadership, and then we will have very, very short, succinct segments related to that word, and various people that we have come on. Some people that are potentially in my multimillionaire, billionaire network, as well as people that own businesses, people that are thinking about starting businesses. It basically runs the gamut. Some of my students here in the United States and in other countries to talk about specific topics. So the one that I just mentioned was leadership. And so we will do those short segments. But for the pre-shows, we just go into some of the information, some of the definitions, and just basically get some people caught up on where we are today on how we plan on moving forward in this network with you. So if you want to be a host, if you want to be a guest, if you want to have a commercial, if you are someone that wants to come in here and have a live studio audience at the Uplift Center Studios, then we can do various things to help have where you have a greater impact and for you to be heard and to be great and to be heard. So with that, today's show is about the word impact and the word legacy. There's going to be some things that we talk about related to legacy out of Jeff's book, but also just looking at some definitions. So I want you to just think right now, if you're taking notes or if you just have, or you have a thought process, not sure if you know where you're listening to this from, but where you're listening from, it's important for us to have, or we have a foundation related to definitions. So the first word is impact. And so what does that mean to you? What does the word impact mean? When you think of that in your life, when you think of that in your business, in your family, what is it that you think about when you say the word impact? So I'm just going to put on my glasses here and look at what I wrote down, that there's a few different things, you know, when it comes to this definition. And so it could be, you know, impact. Something had an impact. And that is basically a move of force on one object to another object. But the way that we're going to look at impact is in relation to your life and to your business and to what you want to have put out into the world. So having or becoming a higher influence, being a significant vessel of change. And so there's various ways that we could define that, but having a greater impact in someone's life, in someone's mindset, in someone's future, in the future of your clients, and how you go about business, and having where your business, you have clients, you have customers, and what you do to positively impact their bottom line, their sales, and then your monetization in your business. So when we look at impact, it's not just all related to money. I mentioned sales and the impact in their business, you know, financially, but you can have, as I mentioned earlier, the word mindset. You can have such a positive impact on someone's mindset that they now really truly believe, and they actually go out and do more in their life to have a greater impact, spreading kindness, spreading compassion, spreading information, all different things that can help people to live a better life and have a better lifestyle while they are still here to impact someone else's lifestyle, someone else and someone else. And so having an impact, having a significant impact, and what it said here is having a higher influence. The reason why that is important is because we all have something to share in this world, but are we? We all have thoughts on how we can make something potentially better, faster, less expensive, higher quality, maybe even slower, because it might be something that, depending on what the product is, it's better that particular product moves slower so it can be more accurate. So there's a lot of different words that we can put there. And a lot of this has to do, ladies and gentlemen, with how we show up in the world, how we communicate in the world to have that impact. So when we mention here on The World Speaks that we want to have you be a part of this network, we really mean that, because what are we doing? We are having, where we have this platform where you can have a voice. And based on you having a voice, you can spread more information about what it is that you have determined is your purpose in the world. Now, why did I have so many pauses between there? This is the 51 powerful pieces of public speaking. Pausing is one of the techniques because it makes people listen in a different way. They're like, okay, either there's breaks in here because it's something that I'm really supposed to focus on, because like sometimes there's just so much information coming at you and someone is talking so fast that your mind doesn't have time to catch up with the thought. Pausing right here. But as you pause, give people time to hone in on what it is that you're saying, the meaning behind what you're saying, the segmentation, if there's 1, 2, or 3 different points you want to make, then they are able to hear point one, point two, and point three. So when we talk about having a higher influence, what does that mean to you and why is that important? Part of the reason why it's important is because some of us are okay with going to what they call a 9 to 5. So being a W-2, going to a 9 to 5, where, we put in our time and we trade our time for money. There's other people that have ideas and maybe they want to turn that idea into a business. And then there's other people that they want to turn that business into something that has systems around it, procedures, so that you can expand and not have to necessarily be at that location each and every day, but have where there's other people that can now execute what it is that you can execute. And then that gives you more time freedom to do other things. Or you may be a person who has the financial means and you don't really need a lot of money to get started, the financial means to be an investor. And so when you're an investor, your money is working for you. And your money can work for you in the other areas that I mentioned too. And if you are following what I'm saying, and if you've heard me speak before, or even if you haven't and you know anything about the cash flow quadrant, that is what I'm referencing right now here today, is the quadrant. There's people that trade time for money. There's people that use their money to promote their ideas. There's other people that use their money and their gifts and talents to systematize their business so that other people can run their business and they have time freedom. And then there's other people that also have where they do maybe some of those other things, but also have their money work for them by having investing. So the E, the S, the B, and the I, I'm not going to go further into it, but those are the 4 areas. And on that quadrant, I just want to say, and I know I mentioned this a lot, and you've heard it potentially in other shows, but you want to be towards the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant as much as possible. And so as we look into that, and then look at this book here, The Ultimate Guide to Wealth and Leaving a Legacy, part of that has to do with the steps, the processes, the mindset, and the foundation that needs to be laid in order for you to create wealth, maintain wealth, and have that foundation in place so that you can then impact people enough positively to leave that legacy. So as we go into the show a little bit further today, what we're going to talk about is the word impact, but not just the word impact, but some tools and techniques that can help you to be that person that leaves that greater impact. And once you do that, it could be that you get recognized during our awards ceremony for the 2025 Life Innovation Global Awards. Here's a commercial on that. Greetings, everyone. This is Dr. Crystal Richardson. Very extremely happy to be with you today on Life Innovation Global TV. Here we are talking about the word impact and the word legacy. And we are going to get to this book. I keep mentioning it, and we will. We'll get over here to Jeff's book in one moment. I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of amazing events with a lot of amazing people. And part of what happens at some of these events is that there is a book portion of it where there's a book frenzy or a book giveaway or whatever you want to call it, and there's amazing authors that were a part of the event. And then what they do is they have a room full of these people, and they sit around at various tables, and they have their books set up. And sometimes they're for sale, but at a lot of these, it's a book giveaway. And so you're able to communicate with the author, get them to sign your copy, and also to really hear sometimes the heart of what went into the book. And so Jeff was one of the ones that I was able to speak to this past year on his book related to leaving a legacy, and I really enjoyed it. And I'll probably reach out to him to have him on the show one of these days. But it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we do what we feel we need to do to have our purpose realized, I guess is what I'm trying to say, in this world. So people talk about, what is your why and what is your purpose and why do you do what you do? And a lot of times it's not where people are really going to understand your why or understand your purpose, because it's not their purpose. So sometimes it'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can identify that. I understand that. But a lot of times people are like, why do you spend so much time doing X, Y, Z? Or aren't you tired, or don't you want to just give up because maybe this hasn't gone right, or this has, and then you have some things that happen positive, and then some things that are considered roadblocks that are really lessons learned, and then you go down in that valley, and then you come out, and then there's something else that goes right, and then you have more hope, and then something else may happen. And sometimes it's just this cyclical thing that happens, right? But as you do this, you're learning more, you're growing, you're able to have, or you use those things that may be considered tragedies or setbacks as lessons learned, and you're still going forward to potentially reach that goal that you've been going for all these years. Now, I say potentially because a lot of times, and with a number of clients that I've had, they don't necessarily reach that goal that they've been going for all those years because their purpose changed, their focus changed. Because as they learned more, they were able to develop and renew their mindset related to something that had an even bigger purpose than what they had been going for all these years. And I'm hoping that this makes sense to you, because sometimes we have our mind fixated and wrapped around something that we think we're supposed to be doing. And I'm talking to myself as well. But then what happens is, as we meet more people, as we go through more circumstances and situations and go through life, quite frankly, we see that maybe there's something bigger that I'm supposed to be doing. And it may not be that it's something bigger, but something more impactful that I'm supposed to be doing. Something that is a niche for me, that I am the person that is supposed to bring this forward into the world. So I do something called the Vision Room, and I do vision events, and I do that at the end of the year heavily, and also throughout the year, because a lot of times, if we do not have clear goals, have clarity of purpose related to what it is that we're going to outline, that we're going to be doing for the next year, each year. And being a Christian, it's giving that up to God and saying, okay, God, this is what I'm thinking, and I want your blessing on this, or I already should have been praying, as it was being developed, to know whether it is aligning with his plan and his will and his purpose for my life. After you go through that whole process, prayer and fasting, and looking at that, it's important for us to not have where we're drifting. So the two words we're talking about today is impact and legacy. So how do we create and how do we have where we have a bigger impact in the world? So one way is making sure that we're aligning our actions with our purpose. Aligning our actions means that we're aligning our time with our purpose. Aligning our actions mean that we are also aligning people in our life that are aligned with our purpose. Maybe they have a similar purpose, or maybe they have where they've been there, done that, and they can give you some mentoring or coaching or some advice. Maybe they are a person that can help uplift you because you need administrative support related to your purpose. And so you align your conversation with these people and their initiatives where you can help them and they can help you, and everyone moves forward together related to their purpose. The word alignment is key. So again, if you're taking notes, I want you to think about the word alignment. And I also want you to think about attending one of our next vision events. We have a number of them that happen throughout the year. You can go to lifeinnovationglobal.com and contact me through there. Or you can go to my website based on my name, crystalrichardson.com, and contact me there. The spelling of my name is at the bottom there somewhere on here with Crystal Richardson. Yeah, with LIG TV host, Dr. Crystal Richardson. So you can go to crystalrichardson.com. And then at the bottom, it also shows lifeinnovationglobal.com. And you can get information there about the awards. You can get information about some of the different things that we're doing. And if you don't find it there, it's okay as well. You can just hit the contact button and contact me, and we can make sure that we get you the information related to what we're doing. But alignment is key. And a part of having a greater impact in the world is having where we do what we do, but we also do that by empowering and lifting up others. Because you see, it's not about moving forward by ourselves. One of the things we talked about last time, and I still have the book right here, is related to teamwork. And we're going to be talking about this some more. And if you missed when we talked about this in one of the last shows, you can go ahead and look at the replay of that. But teamwork is key in building a good team and being a part of a team. And a lot of people call those kinds of interactions masterminds. I like to call them collectives, where we get together and we support each other in a specific way. And so it's very important for us to think about that word alignment, and then also empowering and lifting others the best that we can. Now, for me, I have like a number of things that I'm involved in various collectives or groups or networks, and then here in the United States as well as globally. And part of what we're doing there is, a lot of people have a lot of amazing gifts and talents, but how can we use all of those and fuse them together in a way that helps us to not just promote ourselves, but has where we can take one another forward. And basically it's a win-win. We call it, everybody wins kind of scenario. And so one of those groups is Women of Impact and Innovation International, is a group of amazing women that have where, our goal and our mission is to raise up the next generation of powerful professional Christian women leaders. And it's open to anyone and everyone that would like to be a part of that. But our foundation is a Christian foundation. And so I would love to have you look into that. Also, I am here in Arizona. So Arizona Women Networking is one of the groups that I'm also involved in. And it's a really good group of women that have an amazing business mindset and just a heart for other women and seeing women succeed. And so that's another great networking group. Another one is our women's Bible study, the canvas and the clay. We call it TCTC, the canvas and the clay. And so if you're looking for a Bible study and again, women who are business minded, but love God, have a heart for God and want to grow spiritually, that's another group that you can also be a part of. And then even from a health perspective, let's see which side. So Dance Walk Live, dancewalklive.com. Carmel Jean Francois is a part of that with CFIT coaching. And there's a number of other women as well that are a part of that, and men. But it's a matter of us doing whatever it is that we need to do for our mind, for our heart, for our health, for our finances, to have it all mixed together each and every day based on our visionary plan that we put in place. You probably need to come to the vision room if you haven't been there already. But how do you balance everything? And I always talk about, I don't like the word balance, because is everything actually ever really balanced? Probably not. And I think that sometimes puts a lot of extra pressure on us when we can just talk about priorities and daily priorities, because something may be more important in a given day than another thing. And then you go the next day and then something else is more important. So it's a matter of daily prioritization. So we'll be getting into that more. But like I said, the topic for today is impact. And what we're talking about right now is how we utilize our time and how we utilize that by the word alignment with people, alignment with our purpose. And based on our purpose, there's a number of points that we can go into related to that. Is one of the things I talked about was networking, and have like, who are our mentors and coaches, and who are we aligned with from that perspective? Who is going to be a part of our team? And then who's potentially going to be a part of our admin help and support? So there was various different points that I was making there related to that. And so when we look at how can we make a greater impact in the world, it's supporting our own purpose, but having where we also lift up others. And how do we do that? Well, it's seeking out meaningful causes to support. And once you align yourself with a lot of these people, they have some meaningful causes. And you may have one yourself, related to nonprofits and whatnot. But seeking out a meaningful cause to support then has where you have something that you can speak to that also gets people excited, because then they can see and hear your give back model. Because it's not just about, the grind of it all. When we talk about impact, moving forward, pushing forward in your business and the different things that you have as far as your ideas, it's also, what are we doing for others? And remember, our topics for today are impact and legacy. So what it is that we do for others also helps us to leave a legacy. So I'm going to have where I have you just look at the opener again, which talks about what we're doing related to being a speaker. And we do have some things coming up in Kenya and some other countries, as well as here in the United States. But it's not where you have to have a long talk. Even if you do a 2-minute talk, 5-minute talk here on this station, or a 2-minute and 5-minute talk in some of these other venues and countries, being able to get your message across is key. So I want you to look at this, and I want you to consider contacting us to be able to help get you more exposure so that you can have a greater impact in the world. So I hope you consider joining us on one of our tours and being a part of what we're doing in Life Innovation Global. There's a number of different initiatives here behind me. You can see some of them related to the backdrop that I have, but there's so many different ways that you, you specifically can leave the legacy that you were meant to leave in this world. And me, myself, I teach public speaking. I speak a lot of places, do a lot of things with a lot of different businesses. And I had considered myself an introvert. I still feel like that inside. I can just go somewhere and read a book and write a book and sew some outfits, create something, and I'll be just fine. But God had a bigger purpose for me to leave the positive impact that he wanted me to leave in the world. So part of that has to do with me not just going and doing things, but actually being able to speak towards those things and to help other people to come forward as well. And a lot of it is I put together various types of checklists to get people to think and to think about their own view of whatever it is that they're working toward. And yes, in a lot of different things, and like I have on here, we're talking about impact, we're talking about legacy, we've talked about alignment, we've talked about empowering others, we've talked about a lot of different things, talk about having a team. But going forward with a specific methodology is great, but everything doesn't work for every person. And then even if it is something where you have a methodology that works, a lot of times life happens, right? And we get thrown off of our course a little bit. Maybe we have a health issue or someone in our family has a health issue. There may be a death. There may be something going on in the economy. There may be, different things that are going on with our money based on the economy or based on elections and different things that happen in different countries where you can't travel there at that particular time frame because they're in the midst of riots due to their election and different things. So or someone is really, really gung-ho and they're saying that they're going to invest in your company and they get ill or they die. And then the next person that comes in doesn't even know you. So you have to start over. There's a lot of different things that happen. But I'm here to tell you and to request of you and to encourage you to keep moving forward. One of the things that I sign at the bottom of a lot of things that I write is, keep rising and let's keep rising together, because it takes more than just you by yourself to have where we can have like a greater impact in the world if we all help each other and move up and move forward together. So what we're going to talk about right now is the word of legacy. And in this last part, this last half of the show, we're going to have where we talk a little bit about Jeff's book, I promise. But leaving a legacy and leaving a legacy related to wealth, that your money. I want you to start using the word wealth as opposed to just money and cash and what are you doing related to those general words. Having a wealth profile is part of what I teach, and part of what I help people with is having a wealth profile, because wealth goes beyond money, cash. It goes beyond financial. Wealth goes beyond financial. It has to also do with your assets and your mindset and your spirituality and a lot of different things. Wealth in a lot of different areas. And so as we look at this, it's important that we understand that wealth is not just about money. And so one of the first things that we need to do is look at the word legacy. And what does that mean? And what does it mean to you to leave a legacy? So I'm just going to give you just a few minutes to think about that. What does the word legacy mean? And what does it mean to leave a legacy? And while we're doing that, I'm just going to show a little spotlight commercial of how we can have where we focus on you and your clients. And this is one thing that I did here for a friend of mine. And we were able to feature her clients and their products on one of our shows. Let's see. Let's try that again. So that just gives you a little snippet of some of her clients and their shows in their products. And this is another one that gives a snippet as well. Well, hello again. My name is Dr. Crystal Richardson, and we are here on Life Innovation Global TV, and we are on The World Speaks. Today, we're talking about impact, and we're talking about legacy. So as we talk about this today, the word legacy, and I talked about wealth and having a wealth profile. And part of what I want to talk about there is how do we build that? And one of the things just really just goes back to what is our purpose? What is our purpose? What do we feel our purpose is? And then based on that, how can we monetize that in a way that we can use that money to then build on our legacy? Because we all have a purpose in this world, and it's a matter of figuring out what we feel that is. And again, from a religious perspective, having where we fast and pray and have a mentor or coach or attend like the vision event and have where we can think about a lot of different things and then hone in on what is our purpose. And then when we do that, we can then utilize that to build our legacy. And what is legacy? It's basically, there's a lot of different definitions out there related to that. And I'll just say, it's the positive impact that you leave in the world that goes far beyond your life. That when you are long gone from this world, there will be evidence that you were here. Preferably, hopefully, positive evidence that you were here. And so there's going to be a few different steps that we're going to do. And I'll just use the 5-step method here, and we'll go into this a little bit, and then we'll end with some information from Jeff's book. Is when we think about legacy and when we think about wealth, we need to build enough monetary value so that we can invest it. And then once we invest, we can have where we save some and have where we reinvest. But then also we need to ensure that we protect whatever it is that we've built. And then basically the 5th step is to repeat. So it's a matter of accumulating enough wealth, actual, money, to be able to have where we can use that to build more on our actual financial foundation. And then we save some of it, but not just save, we have where we utilize that to reinvest. And all of this is based on our due diligence in various areas, and we'll talk about that later. But when we're doing this, we already need to have in place ways of protecting that wealth and what we're building in our wealth profile. And then the 5th step is a repeat step, basically doing all of that over again. So As we go into those steps, and it may sound like a lot, and it's something that, we'll be able to break down more as we get into some of the other shows, but it's very important for us to have all of these things written down in our wealth profile and our wealth portfolio planning. And so as we look into that, we save strategically, so that, some people use like an envelope method or a spreadsheet method or whatever the method is, where, there's money that we have that we're saving so that we can utilize it to work for us. Saving money just for the purpose of having it in the bank and not doing anything for us is not how you build wealth. Yes, you do need to have an emergency fund. Okay, so you can write that down as well. It's very good and recommended to have an emergency fund. But remember, our two words that we started the show out on is impact and legacy. So to have a greater impact, part of it is understanding what are the buckets, what are the envelopes, what are the columns on the spreadsheet that we're going to put a little bit of money or a lot of money here and there, and then have it work for us. Because money is meant to be used. It's not meant to just be put in a bank account, put under a rock or under the mattress or under whatever to do nothing. We can have the life that we would like to live here and help people based on having some boundaries and some segregation and some envelopes, spreadsheets, columns, whatever it is that we are saying, having where we are utilizing the funds that we do have to build these in these various areas. And then, we're able to save some. And part of that saving is like the emergency fund, but then investing and reinvesting. And then part of what I mentioned was protecting, having where we understand, the rules, laws, and regulations to be able to protect. And I talk a lot about copyrights, trademarks, patents, different things that we can do to protect what we have created, and contracts, having NDAs in place, MOUs, and then actual operating agreements and contracts to be able to make sure that we are as protected as we could potentially be. And when we go into different various investment type scenarios, investment agreements, that we are clear on the terms and conditions. And so what I do for people behind the scenes is basically act as one of their due diligence officers, if you will, to help them understand about what types of questions to ask for the different kinds of investments they're looking at, or even if they want people to invest in them, how can you put your best foot forward to have the information in place so that they feel comfortable about investing in you. Now, this does not mean, and I have that on the website, this does not mean that, nothing is going to go wrong, in these transactions, but information is power, and it helps you to be able to have where you rest a little bit easier because you've done a little bit more due diligence than potentially you could have done on your own. And this is from a corporate perspective as well as personal investments. I work with corporations as well as individuals. So just think about that. If that's something that you would like to have as a service for you, you can let me know. And more information is on that on reduceinvestmentrisk.com, reduceinvestmentrisk.com, and you can see what we offer there from that regard. All right. So one of the other things that we talk about when I talk about wealth innovation is just the fact of having a plan. And based on that plan, you put virtual mentors and actual mentors in place for each portions of that plan. Now, what is a virtual mentor? I'm glad you asked. A virtual mentor is someone who you don't have direct contact with, but it is a person that maybe you follow on social media, you follow on LinkedIn, you follow on YouTube, you follow based on a column that they may have in their own business page where you get information from them that helps you along the way in that particular area of your financial plan, your wealth plan. So you know that you can get that information from them. And sometimes it's free, sometimes they have actual courses. And then you have, based on, let's say, the 5 envelopes, the 5 columns on your plan of the different things that you're going to do, you say, okay, I know this person is having a course on this, or I know that there's a webinar coming up on this, or they have a podcast on this, and you put there the people that are not people that you have direct contact with, but your virtual mentor list of who can help you move forward and have greater impact and create legacy in those areas. The same thing for actual mentors. So when we talk about the 360, and part of what I'm going through right now is some of the areas of the 360, is that there's virtual people in our life that help lead us. We don't know them, they don't know us, but we take their courses, we listen to what they say, we read their columns, and then we have actual mentors. So these are people that are here. So when we're putting together these plans to have a greater impact and to create legacy, it's important to have those 2 areas filled: virtual mentors and actual mentors. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. One of the next things is looking at a legacy also has to look at what you are doing to leave that positive impact in the world, but also have where it can be considered generational. So this isn't just for you to do it as a one-time thing and then you leave this positive impact and there's all kinds of evidence that you were here, but generational. So something that you can pass down to your children and your children's children, and teaching your children, and where they have financial literacy, wealth, generational wealth literacy, and legacy literacy, so that it can go on and on and on and on. Some people don't have children. So I have children, but persons such as myself, I also teach at various universities, and I'm adjunct professor here, United States, there's different things like that are going on. So I teach them so that they can teach their children and their children's children. And so legacy is created by having these things in place where it's not just you leaving a footprint, but people that are under you, your children or those that you teach, nieces, nephews, other family members and whatnot. So that is a part of legacy. So I appreciate you being here today so that we can talk about that a little bit, and being on The World Speaks, having where you come on and have a show on here, or have where I interview you as a guest here in Arizona, or it can be done online as well. But we would love to have you so that we can build this together. Right now, I'm going to go back to the commercial about the awards, because I really want you all to engage with us for 2025 and nominate others that you know that are having a great impact in the world. And you can also nominate yourself. Take a look. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Life Innovation Global TV. My name is Dr. Crystal Richardson, and we're going to finish up with a few comments from my friend's book here, The Ultimate Guide to Wealth, Leaving a Legacy. And I just want to read some of these topics to you based on the chapters. And we're going to look at what chapter is this? It's going to be chapter 4, just very briefly in our last few minutes. Become your own best mentor. Chapter 2 is love yourself first. Chapter 3 is know and clearly define what you desire. Chapter 4, stop denying reality. We're just going to go into that just for a few minutes. And 5 is your mindset powerhouse is a lifetime decision. 6 is power affirmations for a lifetime. 7, know you are powerful. 8 is the powerhouse mindset of leadership. And then 9 is concluding thoughts. So for chapter 4, stop denying reality. It says it is imperative that you accept life as it presents itself. Don't deny what happens, whether you perceive it as good or bad. This is important, especially if you feel negative about your life. And part of this is saying that, that sometimes that life sucks and, so stop denying reality. So part of this, it says it is good that we are self-aware, and being self-aware will help us to build our legacy. So, some of what it starts out with and stop denying reality is that, there's going to be positive and negative things that happen in our life, but we can take that and make something good out of it. It says invest in your perceptions. What does this mean? As you move forward towards your goals, you will be exposed to experts and knowledge that claims they will help you get closer to what you want. And so based on that, there's people that claim that, but are they really able to do that? So when I say the 360 and putting together a list of virtual mentors and actual mentors, it's very important that we do some due diligence on that and have people maybe help you to come up with who that list should be, not just do that by yourself. A lot of times we do those kinds and make those kinds of decisions ourselves and don't get any input. That's why having that personal board of directors is very important. Whether you have a real board of directors or a personal one that you've come up with, people to help bounce some things off of, that's very important to do so that you can not be in this world alone, but have people help you. So there's going to be some more things that we're going to go through in this book, but I want to thank you for being on our show today and leave you with some comments related to the 51 Powerful P's of Public Speaking. You need to get that book. Thank you, and see you again next week.